In the first game, white is Grandmaster Chernyshov and black is Grandmaster Serge. Okay, d4, d5, bishop f4, c5, e3, knight c6, c3, knight f6, and then of course knight d2. Black played bishop f5 in the fifth move. After that, we said we should directly play queen b3. White didn't play that. Actually, he played knight from g1 to f3 first. It's just different move order. Later we'll see it will be the same variation like ours. Black played e6 and then queen b3. After queen b3, black played queen c8. I would just want to show you the variation we did. We did this. Knight d2, bishop f5, of course. And then we play queen b3. Black plays queen c8. We play knight gf3. And then he has two options. He can play e6 or c4. c4 is more accurate move. In that case, we play queen d1. And the second option for him is to play e6. After e6, we directly play c4. That actually happened in the game. So as I said, it's just different move order, but basically the position is totally the same. White played c4, of course. After c4, black has a few options. He can take on d4, he can take on c4, he can play bishop e7. In this concrete case, black played c takes d4. After that, white took with the knight. That's right, we want to eliminate his knight from c6. And then black played bishop b4. After that, white took the bishop on f5. That's right, so we are not afraid of bishop takes d2. If black does that, we will simply take with the king. And our king is quite safe in the center, because black doesn't have like enough pieces for attack, and he cannot exploit the thing that our king is in the center. So after knight f5, black took, and white of course took on d5. Black took the knight, and then king takes. After that, black played queen d7. You see that he wants to take there immediately. After queen d7, we should just play king e1, and that's it. We are much better. Why? Because we have excellent bishop pair against two knights. Also, after king e1, black, for example, cannot take with the knight on d5 because we can play rook d1. And then if he plays long castle or rook d8, we simply play bishop c4 and we will win peace. You see, his knight will be taken. So he can play maybe this, but then we can take with the rook, and then after knight takes, we have the pin on a4, e8 diagonal. So he's losing after this. So he have to take, after king e1, with the queen on d5. After that, we develop our bishop with tempo, like this. Queen a5 check, and then king goes to e2. There is bishop takes f7 threat, as you see, and there is also queen takes b7 threat. Black cannot stop like both of them, so one of those two pawns will fall. Black decided to play long castle, which is wrong choice. We will see why. His king is in danger on c8. You see that king is stuck there. It cannot go on b8, for example, to hide because of this bishop. So his king is in the mate net on c8. That's the problem. It was better for him to play short castle, but after that we will take the pawn on b7. We will be better anyway, but still short castle is definitely better than long castle. After that, white played rook d1, and then black made a terrible mistake. He played knight e4. After knight e4, white moves and win. So white should just play bishop e6. That happened in the game, and black resigned. You see why. There is mate in a few moves. If black takes, by the way, he has to take. Queen takes, rook d7, and then queen d7. So black just blundered mate. So yeah, interesting game. You see what happened. Just after queen b3, black played this, and then c4 was played, and after c4, white organized himself very well, and white position is already better here, because as we said black queen is awkwardly placed on c8. We will simply play rook c1, and black will have problems because we have rook on the c file, he has queen there, so he needs to spend one more move from bringing his queen on the other square, and yeah, during that time we can just play bishop e2 short castle. We will have great position. Let's analyze one more game. White is Grandmaster Nisipeanu and black is Grandmaster Bluebaum. Okay, knight f6, bishop f4, d5, e3, c5, c3, knight c6, knight d2 first, bishop, bishop f5, and then queen b3. In this game, black played queen d7. After that, we should just play knight gf3. And then, if you remember, we said black has two options. He can play e6 or c4. If he plays e6, then we will play knight e5. And then, if he takes, pawn takes, and there is e takes f6 threat and bishop b5 threat. So he goes back to c8, but then we play queen a4 and bishop b5. So it's very difficult for black to defend the knight. So after queen b3 and queen d7, we play knight f3. Now the best move for black is c4. That was played in the game. White played queen d1, and then black played e6. After e6, we should attack his light squared bishop, knight h4, and then black played b5. Black has several options here, but just in all of them, we will take his light squared bishop. So b5 is one of possible variations for black. White took there, pawn takes, and then, of course, g3. Our bishop is the best on this diagonal. It attacks the d5 pawn, and just it's very good there. Black played bishop d6, white took there, queen takes, and then bishop g2. Short castle, and black play rook f8. Here we said we have like two possible plans. The first one is pawn break on the queen side, like this. And the second plan is to play f3 and then e4 to try to open up the center and to activate this bishop. White played queen c2 first. He developed his queen, and at the same time he attacked the f5 pawn. Black played g6, and then white played b3. Knight e4 was played, and then white took on c4. B takes c4, and then f3. Knight takes d2, queen takes d2. You see what is white's plan in the future? White definitely wants to play e4 in some moment and to activate his light squared bishop. That's the plan. If white doesn't do that, you see that this bishop is very bad on g2, so white needs to activate it as soon as possible. Rook a b8 was played, and then white played rook a e1. Queen a3, and then rook f2. Rook f2 is a very important move. If white plays something else, black will play rook b2. You see, so just white need to be careful. Rook e7 was played, and then e4. After e4, white is better. White has very good counterplay in the center. F takes, d takes, bishop takes, and then queen d6 was played. White played rook from f2 to e2, rook b e8, and then bishop f3. King g7. So why is white better? First of all, bishop on f3 is excellent. It's better than the knight. And second of all, white has this strong passed pawn. So d4 is the passed pawn, and white will have like good chances to advance that pawn to try to promote it. That's the plan. King f2, rook b8, queen g5. Yeah, white could play something else. He could play something like queen d5. That was better because after queen takes, bishop takes, c4 pawn is in danger, and I cannot see clear way for black to defend that pawn. Also, white could play queen d2 to keep queens on the board, and then he will have good chances to win this game. White exchanged queens on f4. Still he's better, but position is simple, and black has like good resources in defense. And at the end, this game was draw. Why? Because I think that this was the critical moment. White played queen f4, queens are off the board, and then black has good chances to make a draw. You know, it's not easy to win this position in the end game. So it's better maybe to keep queens on the board and to play queen d2. Let's see what happened later. Queen takes, pawn takes, rook c7, h4. Still white is better, so don't get me wrong. Just black still has like solid position, and he has good chances to make a draw in this endgame. King f6, h5. Maybe it was better for white to play d5 first, and then black has to play knight d8, and after that now maybe h5. So this pawn is well protected; it cannot be taken. So, and there is like possibility for white to advance that pawn later. Also, there is this threat, maybe rook e8. Yeah, white has like still good play. Okay, white didn't play that. Instead, he played h5 immediately. And then knight e7. Yes, knight is good there. And now just there is no reason to play d5 because he's going to jump on f5, and then there is excellent square for the knight on d6. Rook e5 was played, rook b6, rook e2, knight f5. Yeah, just black consolidated his position, and it's drawish. Knight d6 was played, check, a4, h5, knight c8, yes, a5. White could also play d5, that was also very good, because if black takes, we want to take with the pawn. Okay, he played a5 instead, rook b3, rook 2 e3, and then black played knight e7. After that, rook e5 was played, rook b2, king f3, rook d2. You see black rook on d2 is very active, and now it's difficult to win. Rook b5, king f6, and then it was check on a6 a few times, and then rook e2. d5, but now d5 isn't so strong because black is going to play knight c8 and knight d6. After knight d6, it's totally drawn position because black knight is excellent there, and yeah, black has very good defense, so it's impossible to win this. Let's see what happened later. Yeah, if white takes there is rook a3 and bishop on h3 is hanging, so yeah, and this is drawish. Okay, let's see this till the end. Draw. Yeah, you see, just in the whole game, white was better. At the end, he made some slight mistakes and he didn't win. But basically, it was good position for white after the opening, and white has like good opportunity to win the game. Okay, so we are done with this.